Welcome back to Climate Voters Tonight, everybody. We're going to give folks just a couple seconds to hop on before we get started. All right, welcome back to Climate Voters Tonight, everybody. We are so glad that you've joined us tonight. We are going to be talking tonight about an event that we attended in Michigan, where we rallied for a slate of climate bills at the State House, and talk about some new developments in Wisconsin Republicans' push to unseat a newly elected state Supreme Court justice. But first, there have been some shocking developments on Capitol Hill over the past 2 weeks. So let's jump straight into the headlines. All right, let's start tonight by addressing the elephant in the room, or rather, the elephant not in the room, Kevin McCarthy. Last episode, we told you that the government was very likely headed toward a shutdown, but it was narrowly averted. In the 11th hour, McCarthy shocked the country by bringing a clean, continuing resolution to keep the government funded for 45 days to the floor for a vote. It passed with nearly unanimous Democratic support and 90 Republicans opposing it. The decision to rely on Democratic votes to fund the government, however, infuriated a small group of House Republicans. Last Monday, Representative Matt Gaetz of Florida filed what's called a motion to vacate the chair. In other words, a motion to kick McCarthy out as Speaker. With such a slim majority, McCarthy could only afford to lose a few Republicans. In the end, he lost 8, and for the first time in American history, the House of Representatives kicked out its Speaker. So, where do we go from here? Well, until the House chooses a new Speaker, it's unclear how it can consider legislation on the floor. But picking a new Speaker is easier said than done. The House Republican Conference still has major disagreements to work out before it can coalesce around a candidate for Speaker. As of yesterday, the 2 top candidates in the race were Representative Jim Jordan of Ohio and Representative Steve Scalise of Louisiana. But what does this all mean for climate action? Well, in some ways, not much has changed since last episode. Even if Republicans can unite behind a new Speaker, which is by no means guaranteed, there is still not much room for climate progress, and we're headed toward another potential shutdown if they don't pass a government funding measure before November 17th. Of course, we will keep you updated as we get closer to that deadline. All right. Finally, as we prepare for a busy news cycle in 2024, misinformation is on the rise and poses a threat to the public's perception of the climate crisis, clean energy solutions, and elections. That's why we're hosting an event on Friday, October 27th from 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, where we'll be joined by experts on misinformation who will be debunking the latest climate misinformation news trends, discussing how fake news impacts democracy, and learning how to get involved in the fight against misinformation online. We'll drop the Mobilize link in the comments so you can sign up. Hope to see you there. Moving on. 2 weeks ago, I had the opportunity to join our field organizers in Michigan at a rally at the state capitol to advocate for a slate of critical clean energy bills that will accelerate Michigan's clean energy transition. But before we dive into a recap of that event, a little background. In 2022, Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer unveiled the Michigan Healthy Climate Plan, an ambitious legislative agenda to cut dangerous climate pollution, improve energy reliability, create good-paying jobs, and transition the Great Lakes state to 100% clean energy. Now, lawmakers in the Michigan House and Senate are considering bills to implement that plan. We joined over 500 Michiganders from every single corner of the state to show our support for these pieces of legislation. And we even got to see one of those bills pass with bipartisan support on the Senate floor. So let's have a watch.
Hold on, we got more cameras. From the east to the west, clean energy is the best. Okay.
So very exciting. We're here in watching the Michigan Senate hearings, and we just watched Senate Bill 277 get passed, 24 to 14. So this is open space farmland, allowing farmers to lease their farmland to commercial solar operations. So it's an effort to expand solar in our state. This is a bipartisan supported bill that got votes from both sides of the aisle, and we've been supporting this for a long time, since it was introduced back in the spring, and we're just really excited to see that it passed here today.
I hear this constantly from constituents. We've got to do something to hold the big utilities accountable. We have some of the worst service and the highest rates in the Midwest. And for people who are fighting hard to get to net zero carbon emissions because they understand how important it is, we can't do it without the utilities changing the way they produce the power that powers our homes. And that's wrong. The utility monopolies, the regulated utility monopolies, wield far too much political influence in Lansing, forcing rate hikes and I know, because I've been negotiating a bill for the last couple of months that affect the utilities. They're able to force rate hikes on customers and profit from the dangerous pollution that's fueling catastrophic weather events that we call climate change. It is time that we hold the utilities accountable to participate fully in this process.
My name is Kendall. I am a new intern for EDF Action. I'll be with the organization for the next few months. I am a senior at Michigan State University studying political science on the pre-law track with a minor in sociology. We are at the Michigan State Capitol in Lansing, Michigan. Today we're here for a rally to help pass a clean energy package. We're telling the State House and the State Senate to pass this package.
All right, moving on. A few episodes ago, we told you that extremist state legislators in Wisconsin are threatening to impeach newly elected state Supreme Court Justice Janet Protasiewicz before she's even heard a case. Well, as promised, we've got an important update on that story to share tonight. First, the good news. The Wisconsin Supreme Court session began in September, and Justice Protasiewicz is hearing cases. For now. The bad news, Republicans are stepping up their efforts to unseat her. The court on Friday agreed to hear a case challenging Wisconsin's gerrymandered legislative districts. Republicans have demanded that Justice Protasiewicz recuse herself, claiming campaign donations made by the Wisconsin Democratic Party present a conflict of interest. She refused, citing similar decisions made by conservative justices and arguing that a recusal would disregard her judicial duty. It almost goes without saying that threatening to impeach a democratically elected official over political grievances is a breathtaking affront to democracy and the rule of law. It's also a very real threat to our ability to take climate action in Wisconsin. As we discussed in past episodes, Wisconsin is among the most gerrymandered states in the nation. In 2018, despite winning only 45% of the votes, Republicans in Wisconsin's state assembly took 64% of the seats. This complete lack of competitiveness in state elections has sharpened polarization, since the only candidates incumbents need to worry about are primary challengers. As a result, it's become nearly impossible to work across the aisle on common sense climate solutions that both parties can support. Over the past decade, and climate action has ground to a halt in the Badger State. And that's why it's so important that Wisconsin's undemocratic, gerrymandered legislative maps get overturned. Luckily, you can help make that happen. Next Thursday, October 19th, from 5 to 7 p.m. Central Daylight Time, the Wisconsin Democrats are holding a phone bank to mobilize voters to let their state representatives know they stand against impeaching Justice Protasiewicz. It will be a great way to take action in one of the most politically important states in the nation. If you'd like to join, we'll drop the link to sign up in the comments. All right, that's going to do it for us tonight. As always, thank you so much for joining us. We hope to see you back right here in 2 weeks. Climate Voters Unite.